Okay, I'm gonna just take a break with Eddie Izzard, and we will try to wrap up. This is a routine about St. Paul's letters, which we heard about from S.J. Thomason earlier today. We might get to some Book of Enoch aliens content later on too. Here we go. Eddie Izzard.
Yeah. And St. Paul, he wrote it, isn't he? St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians. Always writing to the Corinthians.
It's going too fast. Okay, here we go. If you don't know, Eddie Izzard is now Suzy Izzard, actually, I should say. Though she has said that she does not mind people using her old name, Eddie. But yes, like, Suzy Izzard is now, like, fully transitioned. I'm very proud of her. But yes, this is from, I think this might be from the 90s. I'm not sure when this is from. But yeah, this is a much older clip when she was still, like, kind of living as a man, but wearing women's clothes.
Yeah. And St. Paul, he wrote it, isn't he? St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians. Always writing to the Corinthians. St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians, chapter 1, verses 1 to 53. Dear Corinthians, as you can tell from my preamble, it's going to be quite a long letter. Here we go. Don't do bad things, only do good things. Always treat your neighbour like someone who lives near to you. Never put a sock in a toaster. Never put jam on a magnet. Never throw your granny in a bag. Never suck all the juice out of a vampire. Never lean over on a Tuesday. Lots of other things, but I've got to go and have Mars bar now. Love Paul, brackets, Saint. Is that how he wrote his name? No. Paul, brackets, Saint. BA honours. Yeah, so he wrote this, right, there's the end of the letter. The Corinthians, Corinth. They must have been a bit fucked off over in Corinth. Postman go around, come on, one of you Corinthians, got to take this letter. Oh, fuck off. That's off from old Mona St. Paul, isn't it? Nah. I don't want it. You've got to take it. Come on, it's got to get a signature for it. Oh, fuck off. It says the Corinthians, plural. Ask someone else. Leave it here. As I say, don't do this.
Oh, God. Okay, Okay, so I don't think I need to point out the inaccuracy here, but it's funny.
Don't do that. Never put a sock in a toaster. Jam on a magnet. Ooh, he's lost his brain, hasn't he? Whose idea was it to be a pen pal with St. Paul anyway? That fucking backfired, didn't it?
I wonder, like, assuming... I'm pretty sure the letters to the Corinthians are genuine letters of Paul, but... gosh, hang on. I mean, it's comedy, dear. Oh, I know what that is. You can see me laughing. Anyways, where was I? I wonder if the Corinthian Christians, when they got Paul's letters, were having that actual reaction. It's like, fuck off, not another one.
He's supposed to stop doing it about 15. He's been gone for years. Come on, Corinthians, come on, general meeting. Right, we're going to write a letter back to him. Stop all this rubbish. The Corinthians letter back to St. Paul. Chapter 1, verses 1 to 1,000,000. More letters to follow. Tuesday the 28th. Of something. Dear Paul, bracket Saint, apparently. Fuck off! Who are you? Why do you keep sending us letters? You arrogant bastard, to send a letter to an entire city. What do you want us to do? Put us up on a board or something? Just fuck off.
Paul wasn't there.
Coming on like Alistair Cook, for fuck's sake. And never put a sock in a toaster. What's all that about? You daft git. Love and kisses, the Corinthians. Kiss. Steve Corinthian, Fred the Corinthian, George the Corinthian. There we go, St. Paul. Outside Corinth. And the Carthaginians as well. Oh, they gave the Romans hell because they attacked Rome. The Carthaginians attacked Rome over the Alps on elephants. And the Romans were never expecting that.
The Book of Enoch is
Okay, well,
perhaps the
I'm
most.
gonna say a quick word. The Carthaginians, they're the colony of Canaanites who went to North Africa. I keep talking about. Okay, Leona Lawrence, I have a question that I've never considered. Well, go ahead and ask. This is the place. So, the letters to the cities. This is the part we see the dot dot dot. Where did they come from? Oh, that's a funny question. Okay. Um, the letters. Did Paul save copies? This is actually a very interesting question. So, there are a couple of proposals. Are we just taking the different groups from it that were from him? We kind of are. However, so early Christian communities were pretty tight knit, right? And because of Paul's reputation, it seems likely. Do they even have the same handwriting? Oh, okay. No one's got the original autographs, right? Every single one of our letters, every single one of our manuscripts was produced by different scribes, right? About maybe, I think the earliest copy of Paul's letters that we have, like physically, like Nancy Drew books were all written by a pen name. I'm not about to suggest that all of Paul's letters were forgeries. So most scholars, Leona learns, generally agree on seven authentic letters. But how many letters are in the New Testament? 13. It's actually 14 because the reason Hebrews is in the Bible is because people thought it was Paul, right? And it was packaged in with the Paul's letters, the rest of them. But yeah, so we suspect that at least 7 of them are genuine. That is the scholarly consensus now, and everything else is either questionable or probably definitely a forgery. But even with the letters to the cities, so Romans, 1st, 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, those 4 are generally smack down. We consider those authentic. The letter to Philemon, the first letter to the Thessalonians, and Philippians. There we go. That's the other one. Well, why would we only have what he sent them and not their correspondences? That is interesting, isn't it? I should have a better answer for you. The only reason I think to save them would be because of Paul's reputation as an apostle. And so that's why they get saved. Now, the New Testament scholar David Trobisch had an idea. Like, one side of a conversation isn't as helpful. I agree. So David Trobisch, he would repudiate this now. I'm not sure. Like, this guy I'm quoting at the moment, he might think that they're all forgeries now. He's very radical in some ways, but he had an earlier idea, which I'm going to mention, which is he used to think that Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, and Galatians, where it's like definitely the Corinthian letters, you get more correspondence. Like that might have been like Paul may have published an edition within his lifetime. And that's why Romans, the letter to the Romans has an extra chapter in the text tradition. So that's one idea, is that maybe he published some of them himself, right? And so you had an addition there that, maybe a couple other letters were added to that, and then some forgeries were added, and then you've got a whole 13, 14 letter corpus. If there were less forgeries, more making the name of Spirit up, just like some people say things in the name of Jesus. That is an idea that is gaining more traction now. There is a position which I am not endorsing. I'm not endorsing this position, but there are some modern scholars who are taking it seriously, though they are a small minority, who think that all of them might be fictional creations from the 2nd century, possibly by the heretic Marcion, and that the versions in our Bibles are expansions of those. But that's a very radical theory. It's not the majority of New Testament scholars think that there probably was a core of authentic letters. We're not sure who collected them, but there probably was a core of authentic letters, and then forgeries were added to them, and then they were collected into, maybe the first person to collect them was the heretic Marcion from about the year 140 AD. So it would have been about 60. No, I can't math today. Would have been about 80 years after Paul's death that the first edition of his letters would have appeared. That's a little bit suspicious. Wonder if they could also be paraphrased. Like, so imagine someone got the letter lost and they tried to write it down as best as they remembered it. I mean, it's really hard. The thing is, like, Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, and Galatians, and are all stylistically very similar. So I think even the most radical critics would agree that those 4 letters, if there was an authentic Paul, those 4 letters are him, right? So I don't know. Could have even been like a scribe who sent it originally, trying to remember it later. Oh, I don't know. I would love to do a deep dive into this for a future stream when I have more knowledge of the discussion that's happening right now, because it's a developing discussion as to like how much of Paul's letter corpus could actually go back to him. So, anyways, I've been going on for a long time. But yeah, suffice it to say, your point is taken. A lot of these could actually be forgeries that maybe as late as the 2nd century. But, I mean, I would say, I would at least put my money on Romans, the Corinthian letters, and Galatians being authentic, and probably a few more. At least, maybe some form of them, even if they were added to later. But yeah, 2E says, yes, okay, we will get to that.